Hello and welcome to Sorcerer's Workshop, where we are always cooking up something new for you to use in your next D&D adventure. I have returned and continuing. I'm continuing our lovely elemental series, and let's do the water elemental today, I guess. That's the next one, then fire elemental is left. But for this one you're going to need a whole lot of blue paint, so make sure you have lots of blue paint and quite a bit of XPS foam and hot glue as well, because that is what we use. So, XPS foam, we're going to start with this big nice block here. You won't need all of it, but first we want to make it into a sort of circular shape, or circular enough. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to stay circular for very long, because you're going to really cut into it. So the water elemental is, you want to try and make it flowy, so start with a circle, but for the base, the bottom sort of area, I sort of just cut grooves into it, but not like the air elemental. Make sure you see that video card in the top, but sort of more larger areas, like you know, the water's flown into one area or been sucked into another area by this creature. This one is probably the hardest one, I would say, because water is, you know, it's very hard to work with, even though I'm not working with water, obviously. It's very hard to sculpt. So yeah, going all the way around, make sure it's flat, and then, yeah, this is much too high. I think I cut in at about half afterwards. Get off. So now we've got this piece here. We want to focus at first, we want to do, but we want to sort of smooth it out, and create sort of an area. I use a pencil. Create an area here. That's where the body's going to sort of come out of, just so I can sort of make a rough estimation. It's a little bit smaller than that probably, but that's good enough for now. So now I'll sort of make slopes down from there, like the air elemental again, but then go to the bottom and don't make the bottom quite flat. I just cut it in about half here because it's much too tall. You want to sort of, yeah, you want to have enough place that you can still stick it to the base and it won't, like, you know, just fall off, but you want an area that you can sort of, you know, it looks like it's flowed up. You'll see in a minute. It's very hard to explain. Just give me 1 second while I do it. So I start by just sort of cutting at an angle here, the side which is the furthest away. You see, I didn't put it in the middle because that would look too perfect, and water doesn't flow perfectly. So here's what I have. You see some areas, it's like, there's the bottom. You can see there is a solid bottom, but you see, like, there's the side here, there's sort of a gash as I'm pointing out there. There's another larger one at the side, maybe not that big. Yeah, if you were to make it, I wouldn't make them quite that big. It didn't turn out quite as nice as I wanted, but there was some smaller ones. Here is the base we're using. Just the same base, so you can see it sort of looks nice. It's not just this big flat thing coming out of the ground. I've learnt from the air elemental, yeah, to make it sort of a bit uneven and stuff. It looks a bit weird at the moment, but once we paint it, it will look really nice. Alright, on to the body. So the body part now is going to encompass not the arms, but their head / torso. So first we want to make it into a rough sort of shape. You can make it really any shape you want. I sort of made one into sort of starting circular at the bottom, going to more of a smooth point. Another thing, make everything smooth. No sharp corners. There should be nothing sharp, because water doesn't come in points, really. It's mainly all smooth. So you see, I go along here and make sure that even just this at the start, it is completely smooth and that there's no like sharp edges. So I get something like this. Still, you know, getting rid of some of these edges that are a little bit more sharp than others, but I've got this sort of obelisk sort of shape almost. I then take the base out and make sure that I can sort of fit it to that before going ahead and carving the grooves into it, as I did with the base. Also at the top of this one, I make a sort of indentation, a little like well, it's an area that I put the face, which is basically 2 holes that I stab with the knife, like so, and then the mouth. So you can see it's sort of in a little bit more than the others, so it's like curved around the face. I don't know. I was looking at the art in the monster manual, and they look cool like that, so I was like, I'll do it like that. Onto the arms. I made the arms from these sorts of pieces, one a bit smaller. I just cut it at a random angle, one a bit smaller than the other. It's water, it's not a person. They don't have the same length arms. But you can really make the arms however you want. Remember, curvy, no pointed edges, you know, just, you know, you've heard me say it. So here we are, we got the base, we have the torso slash head body sort of thing. Let's stand you up there so you can really see what it sort of looks like. We have one arm, don't worry, we'll be adding so much hot glue to it later that it will look a bit different, and the other arm. You see one is a little bit bigger than the other. But yeah, now we have to put it all together. So we're going to hot glue it. So you can see I've matched some of the lines there and stuff. You can see, yeah, that one gash at the front, it's a bit big and it's a bit, yeah, I think it's a bit too noticeable. But this arm will go something like this, and the other arm will go sort of the same on the other side. Lovely if we could see that in focus, but hey. So this is what I came up with. You see it's sort of reaching forward, it's like in a sort of almost dashing forward, you know, it's got its arm behind you like it's sort of running. But that's all well and good, but you know, I thought let's add some hot glue. So I added some hot glue. I wanted some sort of areas around, so it's like water's dripping off this thing into more water because it's gravity. So you know, it can hold part of it, but then, you know, parts of it fall. So we've got this. So I went almost all over creating sort of lines, waves you could call them, all over the body. I made sure I didn't go in any of the grooves because I wanted those to really stay grooves. I still went round the face. I didn't go into the holes though. As you can see, I've added coming off the arms, sort of little bits of hot glue and dripping hot glue from the end of the arm as well. You could make it more or less. I would probably do a little bit less on the other arm, not the one that's closest to us now. Yes, this one. Just because when I paint it, it sort of morphs in, it almost looks like the arm's some giant thing. Anyway, talking of painting, let's get into it. So for the first color, we get this sort of almost cyan, like a dark cyan sort of color. What I do was I mixed a blue, a dark blue with white and just a hint of green, because remember, this isn't pool water we're talking about. This is like pond water, ocean water. I mean, it would be relatively clean, but if this thing's in the material plane, then it's going to be, you know, a little bit dirtier. So then we have this lovely blue color, and we get the just dry brush all over it, and I didn't like that idea at all, so I didn't do that in the end. I got a green wash, this is, so like 1 part paint, 10 parts water, and went all over it. And you may be thinking, oh, what? This looks disgusting. Wait until it dries. I felt like I was looking at the manual and I was thinking, that's too blue. So I did this, and it gives it sort of a green color, but don't worry, because I get the same blue dry brush again and go completely over it, and that does that. And it's almost hard to see, which is a bit disappointing in this image, in this video, sorry, but it really makes it look a lot different. Then I get a dark blue and just do the eyes and mouth to sort of highlight them a bit more, because they are dark, because they're sort of grooves, but I just wanted to add a little bit of blue, like so. Finally, the final step is we get a bit of white and dry brush that over it, really light, so you're only getting the edges, none of the stuff in the middle. Make sure you get the face as well, I almost miss it there, but this all over it. Remember the base as well, don't forget the base, because that's still part of the monster, not just the base. And then once you've done this, you're basically finished. I think I went over it one more time once it finished, because I missed a couple spots accidentally. I'm out of practice, okay? And there we go. Don't worry, the light will get slightly better in a minute. But I think attached to the base, which was just the same as all the other bases, just painted a little bit more blue, it looks quite nice. The sort of, it's not too blue, because like there's lots of these on YouTube and they're fabulous, but I look at some of them and I think that's almost too blue. Mine is quite blue, but it's more of a cyan, which is more green. So I don't know, I just like it more, obviously, because I made it, so I have a deeper connection to it. But you see the grooves are left untouched, which is nice, and but the white really like makes this wave. I really like the base for some reason. Not the base, just the bottom of the miniature, really. So yeah, I will get our comparison miniature in just a second so you can see the size. It's of course a large creature, but while I'm doing that, I think I'll I'll end the video about here. Well, obviously it's where the video ends. So thank you all very much for watching. I promise I will I will try and upload a little bit more, but like and subscribe if you did enjoy it so I know, and I will see you just next week. Goodbye.